Hello and welcome to day 27 of Walking the Quiet Path with me, Kate Field. I am so glad that you are here. So whether you are journeying with me from the very beginning or whether you have just arrived, you are very, very welcome. Each day in this series is a quiet invitation to reflect, to notice and to make, whether through image or word or simply by your presence. These sessions are inspired by my book, The Quiet Path, which you'll find linked below if you'd like to explore more. And there is a free sample there if you want to try it first. Today's reflection is called The Gentle Gift of Rain. Rain doesn't rush or insist, does it? It just falls on its own time, soaking into the earth, bringing nourishment in the softest of ways or in the most violent ways with storms. And sometimes that's exactly how creativity arrives too. Sometimes with a storm, but sometimes gently. A word here, a brushstroke there, a small beginning that can sink quietly and then grow, or sometimes in a great big rush. So let's explore these ideas together. How we can offer and receive without force, and how we can trust the slow renewal that begins drop by drop. Let's begin. The daily prompt for day 27. Soft rain on warm earth, a lullaby in droplets. The ground drinks deeply. Rain arrives without demand, without urgency. It doesn't crash into the earth. It falls steadily, nourishing the ground without expectation. And even the smallest droplets hold the power to refresh, to restore and to awaken what is waiting beneath the surface. And like the rain, creativity doesn't always need to arrive in a rush or in a flood. Sometimes it comes in those quiet moments, in gentle offerings. A single word, a soft brushstroke, a lingering thought. So today, we're going to explore the idea of giving without force, allowing creativity to seep in like that gentle rain, gradual, patient and enough. So your creative invitations for day 27, painting and drawing. Depict the feeling of gentle rain, soft washes of colour, delicate textures, tiny ripples in water. For writing, write about a time when something small, an act of kindness, a quiet moment, felt deeply nourishing. For sculpting or textile art, work with materials that suggest water or renewal or softness, flowing fabrics, smooth surfaces, gentle curves. For photography, capture the rain's presence, droplets on leaves, reflections in puddles, the way the water meets the earth. And for mixed media, experiment with techniques that suggest absorption or flow or renewal. Ink spreading in water, layers dissolving into one another. And the sensory prompt for day 27. If it's raining, stand outside or near the window and listen to the rhythm of the droplets. And if it's not raining, close your eyes and imagine the scent of rain on warm earth, the sound of water meeting the ground, and let this sensation seep into your creative process today. For this prompt, I've decided to do a bit of writing. This is my book that I write all sorts of odd bits and pieces in, ideas, things that I'm thinking about, some doodling and things like that. But mainly it is about writing, and when I'm thinking about my stories and poems and that kind of thing. So I was thinking about this sort of gentle gift of rain, and I started writing this, and then I kind of got stuck at the end. So I thought I would just work
through this with you to show you my process, and then it might help your writing process as well. So I started off with this whole idea of the gentle gift of rain, and I had a memory of last year, actually, of walking in the autumn through the rain down to the local cafe where I was meeting a friend, and it just kind of triggered some memories, and I thought that I would use that as a starting point. Now, in this book, I do lots of crossing out and amendments and stuff like that. Let's see if I can find. I just have an idea. I write it down. I then change things and that kind of thing, and then I will then transfer it probably to the computer. But I do like to use my fountain pen and to write. So I've called this A Cup of Warmth. And I'll read it out to you, and then I'll tell you when I got stuck. It was raining that day, the kind of rain that softens edges and blurs the details. Someone held the door open and I stepped into the cafe. The world breathed again. Steam rose from my cup, a cloud of comfort, the clink of china, the rain tapping on the glass, gentle company. Later, walking through puddles, I noticed the leftover blackberries in the ancient hedge, holding on as autumn fades. And then I kind of got stuck. I thought, where do I go from here? And then I was thinking that there was a blackbird. Do they take perhaps one of the berries? Then there's the stillness and then the sweetness. So I kind of wrote down a few words. And then I thought, what was I doing? Well, I was actually standing still. So how about I have that? I stood for a moment. And one of the things that I would really encourage you to do when you are writing is to just get something down. Just write, don't kind of think about it for too long. Write it down, and then if you need to cross it out and rewrite it, then that's a good thing. When it is just in our heads, it's not real. You have to kind of get it down on paper. So I'm standing for a moment, and what am I doing? I'm listening. I'm listening to the rain. So I'm listening to rain and breath. Now, obviously, it's not absolutely pouring down with rain, because if it was pouring down with rain, I wouldn't just be standing there. I'd just be rushing to get home. So when we kind of like are working through our creative writing, I think it's quite important that we put ourselves in the place. But the whole essence of this gentle gift of rain and the kindness and meeting up with my friend in the cafe, I think I'm just going to end with that kind of kindness. Kindness, I realised, is simply this. So just simply this. To notice. Noticing, for me, is a really, really important part of my whole philosophy. To notice and stay soft. And softness, I think, has some negative connotations, doesn't it? But I don't have it here. I have softness as in gentleness. So I might continue with this. I might work on it a little bit more. But this is the whole point.
Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me today. Perhaps something small stirred, a colour, a memory, a thought that felt nourishing in its simplicity, perhaps. Because that's how creativity often moves, not as that kind of flood and rush, but as a slow seep into the spaces where it's most needed. If you'd like to explore further, you'll find the link to The Quiet Path below and a free sample to begin your own gentle journey. And if you're looking for companionship along the way, I would love to welcome you to my Facebook group. The link is below, where fellow travellers share reflections and sketches and encouragement and all of that kind of lovely stuff. In the next session, for day 28, it's called Held in the Air, And we'll be exploring the delicate balance between movement and stillness, and how creativity can feel suspended, weightless, waiting, full of possibility. Until then, let your creativity fall like rain, soft, steady, and enough. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.